So you're very welcome to the League of Ireland review for the last Friday night before the break. And you may see that I am Billy No Mates here. I'm on my own. Aidan Fitz, Morris, and Sean O'Connor. They've already headed off on their break. Just me on duty tonight, wrapping up. I suppose it's sort of 10-minute wrap or so of the Friday night games. And I suppose where we stand as we head into an international break, which, sorry, for some players is just going to be a mid-season break. I know Damien Duff doesn't like this sight of Dublin Airport being full tomorrow morning of players heading away for a little rest. But there's also going to be some players heading off with Irish duty, being confirmed tonight that Matt Healy is on the plane, as well as Dawson Devoy, Adam Brennan, Conor Brand, and Adam McGinty. That are off to Canada with Ireland, and there may be a couple more. So we'll have clarity on that on Saturday. But yeah, as we head into the break, Shamrock Rovers will head off. That Rovers contingent will head off in good form. McGinty and Healy and Brennan with their team 6 points clear at the top of the table after beating St Patrick's Athletic this evening. It was, I suppose it's a strange one. I mean, ultimately, Stephen Kennedy was quite downbeat afterwards because they've lost again to Shamrock Rovers. There's no real sense of taking encouragement from a better performance. It's certainly a better performance in the two previous games this season against Rovers, but the outcome is the same. They've lost all three derbies to Rovers. They haven't scored. And while they did beat Rovers towards the end of last season, when Rovers were sort of in that sort of weird junk time when the league was basically already won, it is true that they've struggled to really hurt the champions since Kenny's sort of great run in his first stint in his half season when he came in initially. So I mean, I don't know. It was a strange one because while we are talking about a better St. Pat's performance, and they did pile on pressure late on. Joseph Anang, who, similar to McGinty, left an international camp to come here. He left the Ghana setup. He's preparing for a World Cup, hopefully, from his perspective. He was able to fly in and play the game. He spent the 5 minutes in stoppage time in the Rovers area trying to score, trying to get on the end of crosses and dead balls past Joseph, past Ed McGinty. But for all that sort of territorial domination, you're not really looking back on an outstanding chance. I know Kenny was questioning an offside decision of Sean Hoare goal that was chalked off a good bit earlier. But when it came to it, I mean, there was a Keane Levy chance, a shot that was blocked. Rovers, I suppose, got in the way of things, whereas ultimately, when it came to it, Pats gave Graham Burke the space to score an excellent goal in the 9th minute. Sort of a trademark Graham Burke strike. If you give him the opportunity to shoot, and he had a chance a few minutes earlier that was blocked. Pat switch off from a free kick. Burke drops into that pocket and scores a brilliant goal, and that was it. And while Rovers were very good in the aftermath of the goal, I felt they controlled the game. They kept the ball quite well. Pats came out in the second half. They made positive changes. They sort of had to go for it, and they had their moments, but they didn't have enough moments. And ultimately, they go into the break 8 points off Shamrock Rovers, having lost all three games against them. Even if you flip one of those games in the opposite direction, there's a different vibe. So I don't know if they take anything more from the fact that they were more aggressive, more competitive against Shamrock Rovers this evening. They still haven't been able to beat them. And it must be said, a depleted Rovers side. They're now 6 points ahead of Bohs, who did bounce back from that defeat to Shamrock Rovers on Monday. And the heartbreaking defeat, really, in the manner of it, to go and win in Sligo Rovers tonight quite efficiently. And that's a big win for Alan Reynolds. I know it's that Mick McCarthy line. Would you have taken this at the start of the season, being 6 points off Rovers in second going into the break? They probably would. They mightn't have taken it after 6 games of the season. But I think, look, the manner in which they've conceded on Monday, there's always a fear of that hangover. The fact that they've gone out west, they have a great record out there. Their strikers tend to like it out there. This time last year, I think the Moose was scoring out there. But this time, Douglas James Taylor and Colin Whelan both on target. Whelan has a particularly good individual record in this game. And they've won 3-1. And it has been a very good, you would have to say, they have to head off to the break feeling pretty happy with their situation, Bohs. to be 6 points off when they went on a 9-game run without a win is a bit mad. But they are a team who, if they string it all together, maybe they can make things interesting in the second half of the season. Obviously, there's a mad flurry of games in June, and then becomes a little bit more fragmented for the teams that are in Europe. Maybe I'm burying the lead here. Maybe the most interesting result tonight, the most relevant result tonight, is Dundalk beating Derry City. If we are talking about taking stock now, you would probably say that like 4 of the top 5 teams are who you would expect them to be. And this game is the sort of the outlier, or in terms of the situation, because it's Dundalk who go into the break in 4th, deservedly 4th. They're a team who might even feel they've left some points behind, and they've beaten Derry City at home. They're 7 points ahead of a side whose budget would be significantly bigger, a budget that wouldn't be probably far off the Shamrock Rovers budget. And Derry City, 22 points from 20, 18 points off the pace. And actually the teams behind them, they're not all going to win their games in hand. Sometimes you can make the mistake of adding those points, but ultimately, like, Derry are closer to a relegation playoff than they are to a European place. I think Tallaght Lynch is in trouble. He has to be in trouble, really. And I know that's unfair, but look, there will come a time maybe in the future where there's an Irish League manager under pressure and Tallaght Lynch is looming over their shoulder. But I don't think it's unfair to be asking questions. In fact, they're a team who've got some late equalisers recently, or some results in games that really, it doesn't feel like they've left points behind. The reality is they might be lucky to have the points they have in terms of certain games. And there's no real coherent evidence there. I think that the corner is going to turn. I don't think teams who've faced them at times have been a little bit surprised by the Derry approach in games. And maybe it just hasn't clicked, it hasn't worked. I haven't seen his post-match interview on League of Ireland TV. I've seen a lot of the other managers. His one hasn't appeared yet. So he was animated at full time. He was unhappy with something, a little bit of a squabble on the pitch. But I think the main unhappiness is within the Derry group. It just doesn't seem right. Not to take anything away, I mean, Dundalk ultimately, they're an incredible story. Darrell Horgan, significantly, he was fit. He scored a Ruby, big player in the Irish Under-21 shake-up, and deservedly so. And look, he's been a revelation. And I think what Kieran Kilduff is getting from his squad versus what Tallaght Lynch isn't getting from his squad, it's obviously it's not good, and it's hard to see things turning under this current regime. Shelburne are the one team will obviously be pretty disappointed with their evening. I think the suggestion was Joey O'Brien was keeping his players in a little bit late afterwards. They might have thought they'd turned the corner in terms of home form after beating Waterford last week, but it's a bit of deja vu tonight. 1-1 against Galway. They've conceded from a dead ball situation, from a position where they got ahead in the game, which is often the hard part against Galway. And then, it's a ball into the box, and it's the type of goal they've conceded a lot this season. Shelburne, they were just getting a little bit of a run together. And it feels like maybe, those 2 draws this week, away to Derry, it wasn't a great game on a bad pitch. But I think they would like to finish off at home tonight to really go into the break right on the tails of the chasing pack. I mean, they are still, their situation looks healthier than it did a while back, but they are 14 points off the top. And yes, you would feel that they've left a lot of points behind relative to other clubs. But again, they just aren't clinical killers when it comes to really being ruthless, and that's why they are where they are. And weirdly, I think all 4 teams above them scored 31 goals. 4 joint top goal scorers there, Shells on 27. They just haven't, and they haven't scored enough, and they concede goals at the bad times. Probably have left the best game to last, maybe on a night of great goals. And that's the thing I should say. Cameron Dummigan scored an incredible goal in that Dundalk game for Derry City. Shouldn't be overlooked. I mean, the Burke strike is top class. The Dummigan strike is top class. And we also had a brilliant goal from Benny Couto in Drogheda. I think I was listening to David Sheehan doing the commentary on LOI TV. He mentions that Benny Couto was the only player not in the box as Waterford launched the ball into the area late on. But he is the one who comes forward when it's cleared, controls that, and a brilliant left-footed goal. And what was a mad game? Waterford scored twice early, and they were obviously very lucky with that kind of controversial refereeing decision when they beat Drogheda in that refixed game the week before last. And that is, I'm sure there would have been a degree of, I'm sure in Kevin Doherty's team talk to almost, or in his preparations, just to maybe right that wrong. They would have been sore over that. And then you find themselves 2 goals down early, a goal in 14 seconds. And you would think they've done the hard part. It would be such an easy game to wrap up now. Draw the classic heart, grit, maybe more of a together team than this Waterford side when Ryan Brennan scores to make it 3-2. But Waterford, to be fair to them, they pull it back, and okay, they're 8 points off second from bottom going into the break. It could have been worse. I mean, Graham Coughlin has picked up some points. Yes, he will again feel that they've left some go with some late concessions. But I don't know. It's maybe mixed feelings. I don't know who's the happier camp going home tonight. Maybe neither manager is particularly happy overall. But the fans probably were. It was a 6-goal thriller. And maybe, yeah, I mean, it feels like Waterford the other side of the break. I think they play Sligo Rovers. They're going to have to put a sequence together, because it's 8 points between 10th and 9th. It's 6 points between 1st and 2nd, 4 points between 5th and 6th. Like, these are the margins. Is this the gaps that are forming as we head off into our break? The one gap that is clear is in the First Division. Cork City have remembered they're the only proper full-time club in the division. They're now 12 points clear. Don't think there's going to be any suspense in that division at the top. Will we have it in the Premier Division? Not so sure. Shamrock Rovers, it feels like when they really need to, they find their results. But that is the end of this solo League of Ireland review. Both myself and Sean are heading stateside, so we will be back after the break. It'll be Aidan primarily leading things, but we will be back with our regular previews and reviews. Keep an eye on the Irish Independent website across Saturday to the reaction from last night's games. And I guess people will be curious to see, is there any more breaking news stories coming out as teams head off on their break? But thanks for joining me, and we'll be back with our League of Ireland focus when the league returns in 2 weeks' time.